Vivo X300 Ultra is clearly one of the best, if not the best camera phone out there, but Vivo X300 Pro is very close and of course cheaper. The Vivo X300 Ultra main sensor is larger than Vivo X300 Pro, but more importantly, the Pro has a normal 24mm wide main camera, while the Ultra is a 35mm one. Looking at this picture, you will notice the difference in focal length. I would argue 35mm is a better one and looks way more natural, especially for portrait photography. The other difference is the software, where the Vivo X300 Pro interface is different. It does offer the classic Zeiss Vivid and Zeiss Natural, while the Ultra calls it Vivid and Authentic, and lets you also change the undertones similar to iPhone. For the sake of comparison, I'm taking pictures on natural on both phones and slightly zooming in on the Pro so the frame fits. This is Maria, the model of today's video, in this specific lighting shot on a full-frame Sony camera. You can very quickly see that the Vivo X300 Pro is a bit more vivid, while Ultra is more contrasty and less processed. The skin tone on the Pro is warmer, while I do find Ultra being more magenta and also more true to the tone. I also do find the Vivo X300 Pro photos to pop more than the Ultra, and Ultra is a bit more muted, which also makes it more camera-like. This is due to more sharpening and vividness on Pro. Maybe this photo makes it even more clear what I mean. The green is more saturated on Pro compared to the more muted green on the Ultra. The Ultra also gives a slightly better optical quality and dynamic range, especially if you zoom in a bit more. Of course, it is also because we are doing a digital crop on the Pro. For this backlit photo, they are both doing an amazing job, keeping a balance between the light in the background and exposing the face naturally. The Pro is producing a warmer tone though, especially in how the sun is highlighting Maria's hair, which is more orange on the Pro and more muted on the Ultra. For this indoor shot, I do find the Ultra keeping the contrast better. The Pro is lifting the shadows too much in my opinion, and same goes for the night photo, and I find the Ultra processing the image better, especially if you look at the light in the back and Maria's face. They both have great portrait modes, and if I wouldn't tell you, you would maybe not even notice I used portrait mode here and that the bokeh is artificial. Before I show you the video samples, I should tell you the chipsets are also having an effect on picture and color processing. Pro is sporting Dimensity and Ultra Snapdragon. Both chipsets have amazing gaming performance. For example, I can play Raid Shadow Legends, the sponsor of today's video, on max settings smoothly. Raid Shadow Legends has a dark fantasy twist to Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, with legendary champions like Alice the Wanderer, Cheshire Cat, Mad Hatter, Knave of Hearts, and Queen of Hearts. Alice the Wanderer is a high damage attack champion who can control enemy cooldowns while boosting her own damage, making her incredibly strong in both PvP and PvE. Along her journey, the Cheshire Cat returns as a sinister, demonized version using perfect while, speed manipulation, and turn chaining to dominate battles. New players can unlock one of these legendary champions by using my link. If you use my link or you scan my QR code, you will also instantly unlock legendary Elenaril, who has a great AoE poison damage, gets epic Tagoar, who is an amazing support champion that can heal and revive your team at level 15, plus choose one more legendary using one of these codes within 48 hours. Get Alice for Alice, KITTYCUT for Cheshire Cat, or you can pick GOFAST for Razorwark and BIGDAWG for Tervolt. I recommend Get Alice because she's incredibly versatile and strong in early game, so scan my QR code or click the link below and start building your team today. This will further help me to buy new phones for the channel. Thanks again for Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this video. The Vivo X300 Ultra is focused a lot on video processing. Again, for the sake of comparison, this is Maria in this specific lighting shot on a full-frame Sony camera. Both phones tend to expose the video well. The colors on the Pro are warmer here too, with Ultra being more magenta and muted. I personally prefer the Ultra look. The Ultra also has a slightly better stabilization in my opinion, but they are both close to perfect. You probably don't need anything more than that. The Ultra has a new Pro video mode that gives a lot more options like more frame rates and stabilization, which is great. The Pro also has a Pro video mode, but it is not as feature-rich as the Ultra is. Here, I shoot a video in log in Pro mode on both phones and color graded it. They are both giving real vibes with great natural bokeh. Vivo phones are definitely my favorite log footage to work with among any smartphone. The selfie camera of the Pro, on the other hand, is better than the Ultra. It is both wider in focal length and aperture. The wider focal length means you can always fit more into the frame. Now we are checking the microphone quality on vivo X300 Ultra and vivo X300 Pro. As you can see, the vivo X300 Ultra is not as wide as the X300 Pro. Also, I'm going to upload all the photos that I took, plus some more in Google Drive for members. If you want to support the channel, please consider clicking on the join button and becoming a member. That would help us a lot because I buy all of these phones with my own money. The telephoto camera on both of them are large 200 megapixel, 85mm ones, but of course different color science and processors yield different results. The Pro has this more sharpened look and looks more enhanced. The Ultra has a more contrasty camera-like look with a colder tone. The colors on Pro are elevated even on the Zeiss natural mode, while the Ultra has less vividness. For skin tone, it is similar to what we've seen on the main camera, warm skin tone on the Pro and a bit magenta tone on the Ultra. This color science usually makes the whites deeper, as you can see in this photo of Chili the dog. In terms of quality and bokeh, they're on par though. Great sharpness, amazing bokeh, and the exposure is on point. For longer zoom like 180mm, the Pro is using more AI to compensate for the lack of optical quality, it seems. When you go further at 240mm, it becomes even more obvious that the Pro is enhancing the picture and Maria's face much more, to an extent that the photo low-key looks AI generated, but I don't deny Pro does look nicer even if it is artificial. For extra zoom levels like 80 times, you can see the Pro is adding details and sharpening the photo more, while the Ultra is smoothing everything out more and doing denoising. For video with the telephoto lens, I do prefer the Pro here somehow. I do find like the highlights are a bit overblown on Maria's face on the Ultra. You can use the telephoto lens on both phones to take macro shots too. The main difference I noticed immediately is that the Pro makes things more vivid, and also it does expose the picture half a stop more for macros compared to the Ultra. The ultra-wide camera is where you can see the main difference, where the Pro has a typical small sensor of 50 megapixel, f2 15mm, while the Ultra has a great sensor of 50 megapixel, f2 14mm, with a sensor size the same as the Pro's main camera. During daylight, it is more the color difference that is obvious, with more vividness and warmer tone on the Pro. The 14mm on the Ultra means you fit more into the frame, but not with a much larger margin. And as long as there is enough light in the scene, you won't notice a difference. But in low light, like in this basement shot, you can see how different the quality can be, and the shutter speed on the Ultra is much faster. At night in this no light alley, the Ultra is creating a rather good looking shot with the ultra-wide camera, while the Pro is really struggling. For video with the ultra-wide, they are on the similar level, at least during the day. I do notice the Pro is sharpening the video slightly more though, while the Ultra is giving a better natural bokeh. The Ultra kept the Stree Photography mode, but it did change the UI style a bit, and now it is next to the other modes, while on the Pro you have to swipe from the bottom to access it. This is one of the modes that I use very often and can create great shots with the presets you define based on your taste. Regarding the performance, they are very close. The Pro is sporting Dimensity 9500, while Ultra is sporting the Snapdragon 8 Elite Generation 5. In Geekbench, the Ultra got a better single-core and multi-core score, but just slightly. Battery life is also close. The Pro has a 6510 mAh battery, while Ultra has a 6600 mAh battery, at least on the Chinese version I have. I did a day in the life test with 4 hours of screen time, including watching YouTube and heavy camera testing, and by the end of it, they had exactly the same battery percentage of 55%, which is great after a full day of use with 5G. The vivo X300 Ultra has a crazy high resolution screen. It is a 6.82-inch 1440 by 3168 pixels screen while the Pro has a 6.78-inch 1260 by 2800 pixels screen. The Ultra supports up to 144Hz refresh rate in certain apps, while the Pro is up to 120Hz. They are both super bright 10-bit panels with 2160Hz PWM. Design-wise, the Vivo is bigger, but also in my opinion looks simply better. The camera bump on the Ultra is really huge though, even bigger than the big bump on the Pro. The Ultra doesn't have any extra button other than the power and volume rockers, while the Pro has an action button. One important difference between the two is also the price. I bought the vivo X300 Pro for around 700 euros on Trading Shenzhen and vivo X300 Ultra for around 950 euros. But on German Amazon, Pro is around 1,200 for the half terabyte variant and Ultra is more than 2,000 euro for a 1 terabyte variant. Honestly, at those price points, I would not recommend going for the Ultra unless you have a very specific use case in mind. If you are buying from Trading Shenzhen or similar websites and importing the Chinese variant, going for the Ultra is, in my opinion, worth the extra 200 euros. I put the link in the description for the ones I got myself. In summary, the vivo X300 Ultra is definitely a better camera phone. The fact that it has a large ultra-wide sensor and 200 megapixel main camera means everything from 14mm to 85mm is covered even in the low light. I find the processing more camera-like and natural too, and I like the new camera interface. It also offers a better interface for videography. The vivo X300 Pro does everything the Ultra does, but the ultra-wide camera from 14mm to 24mm is not amazing. On the other hand, it is cheaper, smaller, and lighter, and has a slightly better selfie camera. You can also go for something like Xiaomi 17 Ultra. If you want to see how the X300 Ultra compares to Xiaomi 17 Ultra, you can watch this video next. Thanks for tuning into Techmo, and I will see you in the next one.